like 10 minutes ago. I've probably been in a house for 10 minutes. I didn't have any of this. I was literally on the road. I ran in the house, slicked my hair down real quick. And, untrained, unpermed hair, it can be rough. So I ran in, I slicked my hair down, I threw on some earrings and a necklace and a shirt. Hello, DMV lawyer. I'll be right with you. And I pulled it together. So welcome to Trauma to Triumph Tuesdays, y'all. For those of you who have not tuned in before, I am your girl, Terry Long. I am the founder, the creator, the CEO, the boss of Trauma to Triumph, right? I started this project earlier this year. It's been on my heart for a long time though, but I started this project with the idea in mind that we would change the lives of millions of women of all ethnicities, all backgrounds, through sharing our stories of how we, strong women, turned our trauma into triumph. And trauma means different things for different people. Triumph means different things for different people. Some people, like myself, have experienced several different types of trauma throughout my life. I'm 52. And so there have been different things that were traumatizing for me along my journey to becoming who I am today. One of those things I shared with you all last Tuesday. And it was my first time sharing it publicly, and it was difficult, but it was liberating. Right now, I feel better about that whole situation, and I got my friends now who know about it, and we can work through things together, and that's what I love about this platform. So welcome to Trauma to Triumph. Some of you may see me on Thursdays as T-Bomb from Spotlight Over the City, but on Tuesdays, I'm just your girl, Terry Long, another woman who's gone through lots and lots of things, and we're going to share our stories across the world, and this is going to become a huge movement, y'all. Let's watch what I say, okay? It's going to become a huge movement, and we're going to remember these days when we first started talking about it. So I want to bring in our guest for tonight. I've met this young lady before. She is a pleasure. She's a joy. She is a lot of things amazing. But I will let her tell you more about herself. We call her the DMV lawyer. Her name is Jessica Ornsby, and I'm going to invite her into the live right now. Let's see, did I do that right? Jessica, I'm hoping that I did that right, and I'll see your cute face momentarily. Hey, y'all.
Hello.
Hey, I did it right. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you?
Oh my gosh, you look fantastic.
Oh, thank you.
You are just so radiant, and that's how I felt about you the first time we met. You are strikingly radiant physically, but as well as internally, and it comes out when you talk, when you speak so passionately about who you are and the things that you have gone through and the things that you've accomplished. So what I like to do is first, I've already introduced myself, I've introduced you, but I like for you to just tell them a little bit about who you are today, because oftentimes we'll get to talking and talking and talking and talking about so much and your journey that, we get to the end and then we have to rush the good part. The good stuff is who you are today, and then we'll take it back so that people can understand that it wasn't as easy as it looks. She's radiant and beautiful and amazing, you all, but there were some things that happened along the way, and we're going to get into that. So welcome, Jessica.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you for allowing me to participate in this platform. I think it's amazing. I love the idea of women sharing stories with each other because it helps normalize the things that we go through. And I'm sure as many of us who are tuning in, once you've had like that girls' night and you're like, oh man, you're going through that too, it always feels so much better. So my name is Jessica. I am an attorney based in DC. I've been an attorney for like about 8 years now. I do primarily family law, but I generally just have a passion for strong families. And a lot of that comes from my own experiences trying to create a great environment for my kids and a legacy for my family that I can be proud of. And so today I'm hoping that my story will encourage anyone who has a dream, who has something that you're manifesting, something that God has put on your heart, but you're finances, your family situation, your resources aren't really adding up to what you would like them to be to support that. Because that's really how I got to where I am. For being a single mom, super broke, government assistance. I've lived in Section 8 housing with my kid. I've slept in my car. Like I've dealt with a lot of stuff
Mm,
to get to a point where I am blessed enough to be a blessing to other people.
mm. Wow. You know what? I love I love your journey. And those of you who are watching, you all will love it just as much. Again, I get to cheat a little bit because I actually had the pleasure and honor of meeting Jessica prior to now because she was a guest on our other show, Spotlight Over the City, that I do with my amazing husband. So I got to cheat and I get to know a little bit more than you all. But Jessica, take us back down memory lane. You can go
Okay.
as far back as you feel is, pertinent to building an understanding of the things that you went through and that process when you reached a point of transitioning over to another side of life and experiencing the brighter side of life.
Sure. So I think it kind of starts with me having this idea when I was younger of what my adulthood would look like. I said, okay, I'm going to go to high school, I'm going to go to college, I'm going to be so successful and be this like perfect example of a woman, especially a Christian woman. I was raised in the church. Then I went to college and I had my first boyfriend. I got pregnant and had a baby. And everyone around me was like, oh my God, I can't believe this. Like, you had so much potential. But I was determined to not like be just a stereotype and to continue on with the dreams that I had set for myself. So I ended up going through law school, and honestly, it was so hard. It wasn't necessarily the work. It was trying to perform in a space where literally no one around me was handicapped in the same way that I was. Like, everyone else was able to stay on campus and study together and go hang out with the professors after class. And I had to go home and take care of my child and then stay up and study and then, get to campus. There were a lot of difficulties financially because I didn't live in the city. So my school was in DC. I lived in Silver Spring. And I was broke. I was super broke. I was brokey broke. And I was on food stamps. I was on like the cash assistance. I had to get my law school professors to sign a piece of paper that said I was in class so I could keep my food stamps. That was embarrassing.
Wow.
So
Wow. Wow. So Jessica, just really quickly, so while you're doing all of this and trying to make law school work with a baby that you have to take care of, like, do you have at least some support, someone helping you take care of the baby while you're at school?
So he was in daycare. My
Okay, good.
school, shout out to Georgetown, it's awesome. It had a daycare on campus. And so I used some of my student loans to help pay for daycare. So he was in daycare on campus.
Good.
His dad was not local at the time. So, it was just us. And
Wow.
we just did what we had to do. He came with me. He came with me to class. If I did anything after school, he was there. Security guards on campus would watch us sometimes. A few of my classmates would be like, "Oh, we'll keep an eye out," even though they had no clue what to do with a toddler. Um, but
Jessica.
I was so blessed to have like people who had no reason to help me were being helpful, and that was like the first opportunity for me to see how important it is to always help anyone if you're able to.
Wow. I'm just sitting here imagining listen, when I started in college, I didn't have an infant or a kid. I just had me. And I remember how difficult it was to prepare for like a paper. In college, a
Yeah,
paper is nothing compared to what we had to do in high school, right? So
right.
it's a whole different beast. So I just can't even imagine what it was like for you. And then you said there were moments where you didn't even have a place to lay your head. Not, I mean, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, yeah. In college, I got kicked off of campus because they had family housing, but then they changed it while I was pregnant. And I remember the RA said, "Jessica, now you have this baby. You can't have this baby on campus." And I'm like, well, what am I supposed to
What are
do?
you doing?
So one of my colleagues, her mom was a developer, and she would let me and my son sleep in the houses while she was renovating them. And then
Hmm.
eventually I was able to get Section 8 housing, which was awesome. Well, it was awesome to have a home. And I was so
Yeah.
grateful for that. And then I think, I can't remember how long we stayed there. And then I was able to get a job off campus so that I could pay to have like an apartment. Um, and that was an interesting journey. uh, in
Tough.
in law school, they were helpful because I actually called my school and said, "Thank you for the offer, but I cannot go here because it's too expensive for housing." So I was coming from Tennessee, and apartments up here are very different price from the South.
I'm
So they
sure.
helped me a lot. They helped me get an apartment, but it was all funded through my student loans. And although I was able to pay the rent, getting to and from school was really expensive. It was like $7 and change in order for me to get to school. And there's sometimes I didn't have it. So me and my son, I said, okay, we're just gonna sleep in the garage today because I have to go to class and I can't afford to go home and then come back.
Wow.
Um, but he was such a good baby. Like shout out to him. You know, he was amazing.
You know what? God gives you what you need when you need it. You know what I mean? And so you just saying right when you just said he was such a good baby. You know what? That's what you needed. You
Yeah.
needed that to be the case. You know what I mean? Imagine how hard it would
Oh,
be if he wasn't a good baby and you're trying to go through law school and you're trying to figure out where y'all gonna lay your head. You know what I mean?
oh man, if he was anything else, it wouldn't have worked. And that is something that has also helped me because now I have a second child who is not like him at all. And if I had him first, we would have a different conversation. I say that right now. But it's also given me that has given me a lot of appreciation and compassion for moms. Like when I see moms out and about and they're struggling with their kids, I'm like, how can I help you? Because I know what it's like now when you're just trying to get from A to B and your kid's giving you a tough time.
Girl, tell me about it. I'm a mom of three, and they're all different. Like you said, you know, your first one was easy, like Sunday morning, and then the second one probably was not so easy, right? They're all different. But like I still believe, even now, 3 kids later, he gives us what we need when we need it.
Absolutely.
And
And
sometimes, you know, the tough kids are what we need in whatever season that is of our lives, you know?
absolutely. And in terms of giving us what we need, there were many times where I didn't have money to like buy food. And in undergrad and in law school, the staff were, I don't know, I feel like they were literally angels. Without me saying anything, they would say, just know, no matter what, your son's gonna eat. So we ate and he ate. There were some times where I didn't eat, but he ate. They always made sure my baby was fed. He never went hungry. I mean, even the security guards that would let us into the garage, I think they started to like see that I couldn't really afford things. So they would just push the little button. They were like, I didn't see anything. And I I am like always, it like makes me so emotional when I think about all those people that God placed in my path to help make sure that I got to where I was trying to go. Because the Bible says that why should you worry about what you're going to eat if God is feeding the birds? And I've never worried about that for me or my son. And that took a lot of weight off of trying to do this very difficult thing of going to school. Because I don't think I could have done
You're about to make me be so emotional because,
it.
listen, that is the one thing that I stress every week when we talk about different things. Like, what would we have done without our belief and our faith that God is going to make sure we eat? He's going to make sure we have what we need. As long as we rely on Him. I always say the times when I have tried to rely on me and what
Hmm.
my abilities are is when I would hit brick walls. And when I finally stretch my faith and really use it. What's the point of us having faith, you all, those watching too? What's the point of having it if we won't use it?
Absolutely.
You used yours and you saw the favor of the Lord, honey. That is favor. When the security guards are looking the other way, that's all favor.
Yes.
It
And
really is.
the way that I know it was God is there were two times where I went back to thank someone. Like I was able to figure out their name and say, hey, I want to thank you. And they did not remember helping me. And they're like, yeah, sure. Yeah, that's nice. And I'm like, no, you did this amazing thing for me. And that's how I know it was God.
You know it was God. He uses different people, and sometimes they clueless. They don't even know. You know
So,
what I mean? Girl. So, okay, so we're in law school, we're chugging along, we're using the village to raise the child because it takes a village, right?
absolutely.
And so did you reach points where you felt like, you know what, I'm not going to do this, or I can't do this? Or did you continue to have that, let's go?
No, I definitely said I wasn't going to do
You
that.
did. You had moments.
Times when I was in my first year of law school is hard, and I didn't get the grades that I thought I should get. And I remember I cried for like a whole weekend, and I said, "Oh, I quit. I'm stupid." You know, I was talking down on myself instead of realizing that maybe I needed to pivot and adjust how I was approaching this new experience. I had gotten so used to studying a certain way. And so God's like, no, you just have to change how you're approaching this. So I definitely wanted to quit then. I wanted to quit when it looked like financially I wasn't going to be able to stay afloat. But then I remember I was telling my best friend, I'm like, well, if I quit, now I have to pay these student loans. And how am I going to pay the student loans if I quit? So I got to stay. I can't afford to stay. I can't afford to leave. So I definitely had moments like that. But again, God was telling me, okay, you need to adjust your approach to this. You're not tapping into your resources. So instead of being egocentric and assuming that I had everything that I needed to be successful, I started speaking more to the administrators at my school, people who were where I was trying to go. I spent a lot of time doing informational interviews with attorneys, trying to understand what they felt helped contribute to their success, instead of just saying, oh, well, let me just keep doing what I'm doing and plodding along. Um, but I mean, almost anything that you do, you can love it and one day wake up and feel unmotivated. So I was just constantly trying to figure out, why am I doing this, and making sure I was sticking to that.
Wow, wow. That's such, I asked you that question because I know that there are some people probably watching right now who are wondering, like they are going through, did you ever have moments of just completely feeling like I can't do this? And what did you do to get through those moments? So I appreciate you sharing that part of it. And so when you finally reached a point of graduating from law school, tell us more about how your journey continued to unfold to becoming who you are today.
So when I graduated, I got a job that I really, really wanted, and that a lot of people in the legal field felt was like a good job, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I was super excited, and I didn't like it.
You
I
did.
loved the I loved the people, but the environment wasn't for me. And I wasn't enjoying it. And then I started to question if I even knew what I wanted to do, because I'm like, I fought so hard to get here and I don't want to be here. So then again, I had to think back to all those conversations I had with attorneys who were practicing. And I said, okay, I have to figure out what I'm passionate about and focus on that. So then I shifted from working at a big firm, you know, making decent money, to going out on my own completely and hoping that it would work out. And I remember after I shifted, I was laying on my sofa and something just hit me. I was like, oh my gosh, I have no income and I don't know what I'm going to do. And I was praying and I said, Lord, tell me what I'm supposed to do. And he told me exactly what to do. I did it and I got my first client. And that was, I said, okay, I guess I'm in the right place.
Wow, Jessica. See, he sends signs and wonders to let us know and confirm you're doing the right thing. You're in the right lane. And you were able to hear and see those signs so that you can stay where you exactly where you were supposed to be.
Yes, and I wasn't afraid. You know, people say, move in silence. Don't tell people. I don't believe in that, because the fact that I didn't move in silence, it allowed my support system to step up even more for me. I was super broke when I started my practice. I didn't have any savings, nothing. And I remember I ran out of like ink for my printer, and I needed to print a motion. And one of my friends left work, bought me ink, delivered it to my house, and said, here you go. And I had another friend who paid for my opening. I had like an opening event, and their company paid for it because they were investing in me and my dream, because I chose to just tell people like, this is what I want to do and I'm really passionate about it, and not necessarily being like, you should help me, but just letting people know what you're doing can give them an opportunity to give back to you in a way that maybe you didn't even know they could have.
I believe in that so much. I really do. I know that saying, it's a rap song, right? Real G's move in silence or something
I
like
don't even know.
that. And maybe that's applicable for like the streets or whatever. But like you said, for me, I feel like, you have to speak things. You have to really put it out there in the universe, and you will be surprised, or maybe not be surprised, but God will start sending you people, resources, the things that you need. But you have to be able to do exactly what you did. You have to be able to put it out there and let people know exactly what you need to keep going.
Absolutely.
And they will pull together, honey. And you are a very good example of just that. And so you started on your own journey. Things were really tough in the beginning, doing it on your own. And then what?
So then, I sort of stumbled and fumbled through it. I took a lot of what we call continuing legal education courses so that I could learn more about what I was doing, because I never thought I would own a business, much less run a business.
Right.
You know, it's so layered. But then I quickly realized I didn't want to do it by myself, because that wasn't the purpose. Like, God didn't put me in this place, and I did not go to law school to be this like lone ranger where it's like, oh, Jessica. No, it's not about me. It's
Right.
about what I can provide to the community. So I've had the amazing opportunity to partner with another fantastic attorney. And so we've just been growing our practice, trying to refine the excellence of the service that we provide to our clients. But now my idea of success, and especially success as it pertains to families, has shifted. I, for a while, was very passionate about just fighting for my client. If you want me to bulldoze the other person, that's what we're going to do. But as I've learned more about families and Black families and dynamics, I'm like, okay, there are other ways I can help. So I took like a 60-hour course. 60 hours, something like it was, about mediation, so that I can help families work through these very difficult discussions in a way that avoids court. And it also started a wellness and self-care company with my cousin to help. Like, I'm trying to like encapsulate the family with resources so that we can be amazing and flourish within our community.
Yes, 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 yes. That is like music to my ears. So talk to us a little bit about, so you're doing family law,
Yes.
but you're also doing something else pretty neat. Tell us about that part of your life.
Sure. And so my cousin actually messaged me. She's like, "You're a hypocrite," because I'm talking about self-care and I have not been taking care of myself lately. So
Shame on you.
I know. So we started a self-care and wellness company that focuses on mothers, because a lot of times you become a mom and people only focus on the kid. They don't really care about how mom's doing. But you go through a lot after you have a kid or start your family.
We do.
So we try to hit all aspects of wellness. So the social aspect, physical wellness, spiritual, emotional, all of that. We are in the process of releasing our wellness boxes. We have sold some already, but we are trying to roll it out. And if I don't know if you've heard anything about like this pink sauce thing going on, once something takes off like beyond you, it's kind of hard to bring it back in and make sure it's done right. So we're trying to make sure we get everything done correctly before we
Going out the door.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's very exciting. But it's another business, and it's like, all right, we got to make sure we're taking care of ourselves while we're trying to tell other people to take care of themselves.
That's right, because what good is that going to be if you are a mess?
Oh yeah, I mean, you may have noticed I had deactivated my Instagram.
I did. I did. Is that like something that you needed to do for self-care?
Yes, because I have been using social media for business for years. And there is a certain amount of pressure to just continue to produce content, to not be like impacted by any negative feedback that you receive, and then to be responsive. And that on top of like, you know, layers of life, I'm like, okay, that's one thing I can release for now. So I said, okay. And it was kind of nice. Like I wasn't opening my phone to scroll through Instagram, which was pretty cool. But, you know, it was short lived.
It's short lived, right? It is, you know, keeping up with social media can be really draining. And for me, being the co-host of Spotlight Over the City, it's mandatory almost. Like I can't just not be on social media because of that platform, right? But sometimes it can be overwhelming because it's like, shoot, I don't want to not be responsive, but you know, you've really got it's like you really got to like it's another whole world of a life. You know what I mean? It's like your social media life because you really just got to be on it and on it and on it and on it. And like you said, there are comments. Like someone made a comment maybe last week or something. I forgot what I had. So whatever I had on, it was like two-tone, like one color this and one color that. And somebody made a comment like, you know, you sound just as dumb as your jacket looks, two different colors, blah, 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 blah. And so I just, you know, for me,
Like,
because I have,
where do you come up with this stuff?
but because of where I am in my life, I just, you know, like I hit the like button and I just keep it moving because that's the only way I can continue to be very, very present in social media and still happy and still be able to motivate people and, you know, say great things to women. So, but people are really, they can be really cruel. So I'm glad you were able to take a break, a mental break from this crazy beast social media. It isn't very necessary, I'm sure. What can we look for next from you, Jessica? What can we look for next, the next chapter of your life and your journey?
So I will be promoting more about the mediation aspect of self-care because I believe that's also a part of self-care. We're all going to be involved in conflict at some point. What you experience with that person and your comment section was a type of conflict. And encouraging people to learn about ways to resolve conflict, especially within their family. So you'll see a lot more content about that. I have so many ideas of ways we can avoid being in court. And I want people to listen to me because I have a little bit of insight. Don't go to court. um, so
Yeah.
you'll be seeing a lot about that. And then for Dooney, the self-care company, you will be seeing our boxes released soon. If you know of any small Black-owned businesses or minority-owned businesses, come our way. So you'll be seeing that. And as well as we have some activities coming up, some things had to get moved around because of venues and those sorts of things. But you'll be seeing that as well.
I'm so super proud of you. I want you to also share from the wisdom that you've gained from your journey. What would you advise people coming along the way now, teen moms who feel like, you know, they have messed up, they put this negative stigma sometimes on teenagers who become moms at a young age, teen moms, or those that are struggling through trying to go to school and be a mom. What is what are some things, some key takeaways that you could provide to people that have a similar path as you had?
First thing I would say is to forgive yourself. If you are carrying any kind of shame or any negative self-talk about your circumstances, forgive yourself first and give yourself grace because literally anybody can end up in that situation. Unfortunately, women are the ones who tend to bear the burdens of pregnancy, but it takes two to tango. So I would say that first, and then love on yourself. Okay, if you were looking at yourself outside and what do you need, and do your best to sort of source those things and forget about anyone who's not supportive. So I had a lot of, you know, family members and people who said negative things. Ignore them and choose to invest in the relationships that are going to be supportive of where you're trying to go, as opposed to envying people who may have their circumstances a little bit different from you. Because that's something that I have struggled with, where I'm like, man, you know, they get to do this, it's so much easier for them, but they may have struggles in areas that I don't. So forgive yourself, don't envy other people, tap into positive resources, and then ignore the people who are just being a naysayer.
Yes, and so for those who are trying to push through in college, is there like, would you advise them, like, hey, if you're, trying to make it through college and you got pregnant or you have a baby, make sure you go and talk to the so and so resource center. They may have some, like what types of things from
Mm-hmm.
your experience should they look into if they are in that situation?
That is a great question. So I had a really strong support system with my professors, and
Okay.
they helped encourage me. I did not get as much support from administration,
Mm,
but if you're in a school where they do have like great administration, use them as mentors. Use them when you're feeling some type of way, email them, go to their office. My professors were the ones who said, "You are not quitting. I'm not going to let you quit. You're going to keep going." They're the ones who would hold my baby. Like, I've studied music in undergrad, so I'm supposed to be playing the piano, and they're back there holding him because I have to do what I have to do. So tap into those people. You'll feel their energy.
yep.
Um, then also, if you are in a financial bind, don't feel embarrassed to get assistance. There is government assistance out there for a reason, and you should use it. And it's there for people just like you, people who are trying to get from A to B and just need something to bridge the gap. Go get the assistance. It's better than, eating McDonald's because you can't afford to buy groceries. It's Go get the assistance. Don't feel ashamed
Absolutely.
about it.
Absolutely. And look at Jessica. She went through all of that. She went through getting assistance, Section 8 housing, all of those things. And look at how amazing you turned out to be. So I just want people to understand that it's not a bad thing. It's not something to be embarrassed about when you reach a point in life where you need some help. If you need help, and closed mouths don't get fed. So one of the
Absolutely.
things that you said, your professors were willing to help you. They wouldn't have been able to help you if they didn't know you needed the help, if they didn't know your situation. So we can't be too proud or too embarrassed to not to put us in a situation where we won't even ask for the help or let people know we need the help,
Yes.
because
Even
you
accept
had a
the
village. Yeah, you had a village. And when you speak those things that you want and need and allow God to work, you will be amazed at the things that will come your way. Like we
help.
said earlier, resources will come your way. People will come your way. You'll get favor from the Lord if you just really have that belief and that trust system. So I appreciate you for being an example of everything that we just shared. You're a true example of that, Jessica, and I'm just so proud of you.
Thank you so much, Terry. Thank you
And
for
I'm
allowing
very
me to share
grateful
my.
for women like you, trailblazing women like you. If there's anyone out there who needs a DMV lawyer for your family issues, Jessica's your girl.
Yeah. And if you just need any resource, please reach out. Because of what I do, I interface with a lot of people in different areas. So usually I know someone who does that. It's like, oh,
Right,
I know someone. So
right. If you can't help, you might know someone. The chances of you knowing someone who can are high.
yes, and I'm more than happy to pass along contact information and make introductions.
Absolutely. You know, anytime that Trauma to Triumph or Spotlight Over the City can be of assistance to you in your journey with all of the amazing things that you're doing, please consider us. Because anything that we can think of where we can collaborate and make this world a better place, we're all in this together. I think that we share a lot of like-minded things. So please keep that in mind, Jessica. The answer is yes, whatever it is. The answer is yes.
Yeah.
And also, for those of you watching, if you would love to share your story of how you survived trauma and you turned it into triumph, please go to my website, www.trauma, the number two, triumph.doc.com. So it's www.trauma, the number two, triumph.doc.com. You may email me as well, and that email address is info at trauma, the number two, triumph doc.com. You can DM me, you can call me, whatever you feel comfortable doing, because I really truly believe that every week when we have one of these amazing, brave, courageous women tell their stories, I always get someone who comes to me, Jessica, every week. There has been a woman or two or three who has come to me about the story that was on that week, to share, sometimes even in tears, of how it really impacted them or it really touched them. I have a woman now who's like, oh my gosh, it made me now want to tell my story. And so these, every week, we are building more and more momentum for the lives that we are going to change across the world. That is my belief. I'm speaking it into existence, that we will change the lives in a positive way of millions of women, of all ages. I want to reach younger women, middle-aged women, older women. Again, I'm 52. I consider myself an older woman, but I've had a lot of life experiences. I have gone through divorce. I've gone through difficult pregnancies. I've gone through some really crazy things, you all, that I will share along this journey as well, give you more of my personal stories. So please, if you know someone who fits into this project, send them my way. Would love to have them. And if you have ideas for this, we're going to be doing some women's conferences, some brunches, any ideas that you all have, let's do it together. I'm really open to having other women be a part of this project so we can make it the best that it can be. We got to get Oprah on this project. She's going to hear about it, y'all, and she's going to want to be a part of it. I'm claiming it. Every week I say it. Oprah is going to say, let's do it. All right? So you all, let's do it. Until we get Oprah on the team, we're going to do it together. Me and women like Jessica every week. So thanks again, Jessica.
Thank you so much, Jerry.
I pray that everything works amazingly well for you in your journey, and I'm sure that we'll be doing some things together. I'm just sure.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
It was such a pleasure. And thank you, everyone.
Yeah. Thank you to everyone. I will see you all again next Tuesday at 8:30 with another amazing woman, another amazing story. Until then, you all can check all of the prior episodes are on my YouTube channel, and the YouTube channel is Trauma, the number 2 Triumph. So check us out. Please subscribe, and let's keep this movement going and growing bigger and bigger and bigger. Thank you all so much. I'll see y'all next Tuesday. See you, Jessica.
Bye.
Bye-bye.